Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. On Tuesday, January the 16th, you may notice if you looked out your window, it snowed today. Well, less than a half inch in Little Rock, but that was enough to shut down government and all the schools. Things were a lot worse south of town and terrible out on I-40 where multiple tractor-trailer rigs tied up traffic for hours because of jackknives. Other news today, Tom Cotton continues to get roasted for lying for President Trump in covering for his racist remarks in a meeting on immigration last week. He's been called a liar repeatedly in nearly every major news organization in the country. That doesn't particularly hurt you necessarily. It turns out even White House sources are confirming that Cotton is using his statement that Trump didn't say one odious word by saying he actually used another very similar odious word, shithouse versus shithole, if you need to know. That's what the level of our discourse has descended to these days. Well, elsewhere on the foreigner front, we learned yesterday, thanks to Memphis TV station's report, that the Trump State Department refused a visa request by a Vietnamese woman who wanted to come home to Arkansas to attend the funeral of her son. He was born in Vietnam. He was a U.S. Navy veteran. He died of cancer. She wasn't allowed to attend his funeral. The State Department won't say why she didn't qualify. Up in Fayetteville today, secrecy reigns as usual at the University of Arkansas. They're refusing our FOI request for details of the pay of 3 new assistant football coaches likely to be in the high 6 figures. They used one excuse: it was invalid, that the papers were in active use. They're not. And now they said there'd be a competitive disadvantage in revealing, at this point, the pay of people who are already working for the University of Arkansas. Funny business in hog world. They don't believe in accountability very much up there. Elsewhere, medical marijuana and the politics of that new subject are rising. There's 69 U.S. representatives now who are asking for an amendment to legislation that would prevent the Justice Department from spending money on enforcing marijuana laws in states that have legalized marijuana in some fashion, like Arkansas. As yet, no Republican politicians from Arkansas have joined that initiative. We also learned today about some connections that are likely to emerge in the business of regulating marijuana in the state. A member of the State Medical Marijuana Commission, Travis Story, a conservative interest lawyer in Fayetteville, turns out to have joined with some applicants for medical marijuana permits in Texarkana to have dispensary and cultivation licenses. Will that affect their deliberations there? Don't know. It's hard to avoid connections in a small state like Arkansas, but that one's one to watch. Campaign finance reports are coming in today. Asa Hutchinson says that he's got $2 million in the bank for his re-election campaign. Jared Henderson, a Democratic challenger, did a pretty nice job, relatively speaking, raising more than $130,000 in just 3 weeks after his announcement. Jan Morgan, a Republican conservative firebrand, meanwhile, gets plenty of attention if she doesn't have much money for her social media outbursts against Hutchinson's supposed liberalism. We learned today from Governor Hutchinson's office, too, that they're very confident that they're very soon are going to receive waivers that will allow work requirements for Medicaid recipients in Arkansas. Interestingly enough, they also confirmed that they've been meeting in person with Seema Verma, who's the head of the Medicaid Services Office of the Federal Health and Human Services Department. She once did work for Arkansas. At one time, Democratic Senator Ron Wyden complained that she shouldn't be dealing with Arkansas because she had a conflict of interest from having worked with Arkansas. She apparently is working hand in glove with Arkansas. She ought to be friendly given her past. And finally, there was this, Pine Bluff, a city that sometimes goes through some bad PR times for a variety of reasons, turned up on a good list today. It's the 6th cheapest metropolitan area in the United States to buy a house. Now, some unkind people say that homes are cheap in Chernobyl too, but they say that there's good fishing in Pine Bluff and a lot of affordable houses. So take a look, and it's only 40 miles from Little Rock. I love Little Rock to be so close to Pine Bluff. I'm Max Brantley. I'm resisting. I'll be back tomorrow.